be praised by other people.
Not be hated.
Give a persuasive feedback. Anyone else?
I want to know more about the feedback.
I want to know more about feedback. Any hands?
I just want to make a better team. We just want to find a way to improve coach my team.
Improve coach. What is it? To make a team reach their goal. Make the team reach the goal. That's nice. Anyone else?
Maybe the feedback influence in the organization from bottom up, not only just top down.
Make the feedback influence from the organization, not only just bottom up but top down.
No,
Not down. No, yeah. I want to go and call out this, like the CEO, for example. Okay, this what you are doing is not correct, or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So sorry.
some small people might have some feedbacks to the top one also.
Anything else you wish you learned from this? Good. You can keep on adding if something comes to your mind. Just so
to know what to do after I get feedback.
We will try to cover this and come back to this at the end of the session to see if we have covered most of the things. So, to start.
Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Natcha and I work as the experience designer at Thoughtworks. So what did the experience designer do? We make the product friendly for the user. Sometimes we analysis or negotiate with the client. Sometimes we do the prototype, but all things is made for the user feeling friendly when they use the application.
Can I ask one specific questions? What does Thoughtworks do?
Welcome.
Okay.
Very tall.
So, I'm Sriram. I'm from India. So, I'm working here in Thailand for past 1 year. So, I'm from Thoughtworks. I'm a quality analyst. I like to call myself as a quality advocate. So, not an analyst, but it's my title. So, to answer your question, why are we even talking about feedback? Who are we? So, we are from Thoughtworks. So, Thoughtworks is a consulting firm. We go to different clients. We try to understand what their problems are, possibly help them find a solution. So that's us. So we have different kind of roles at Thoughtworks: a BA, UX, QA, devs. Devs is our core. Rest we are all supporting structures for the devs.
So what does it mean? What does the feedback mean at Thoughtworks? Because giving or receiving the feedback is our cultural. I always asking the feedback from the client or even the teammate too. So it's because we believe in continuously to improvement and respond to change. We believe in fast and strong feedback loop. And this is because we want to move fast. So this it means we want to get the feedback, or sometimes we receiving the feedback to other people for their improvement.
So feedback just not includes talking. So for us, feedback also includes something like if we have a prototype, we go to a user testing, so we get the feedback. So with our development process, we do TDD. So we have tests that give us feedback. So even that, it's ingrained into our culture so much that I think I have practiced so much giving feedback. Maybe I can give some hints or some guidelines that might be helpful to give feedback. So that's why we are talking about feedback as from coming from Thoughtworks.
Okay.
So let's understand why feedback. We will understand this through an activity. So to explain the activity, we will need 3 people to come forward and volunteer. So this is the whole team. The objective of the team is to throw coins into this, throw these coins into this box. So that's the objective. So we as a team are here to help, but there will be only 3 people who will be doing this activity. So we need volunteers.
Yeah.
And the 3 people will be blindfolded.
Blindfolded?
Yeah.
Okay.
One. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So the 3 of you can wait outside. We will call them.
Yeah. I will follow you after this.
Okay. So remember, you are part of the team. You have to give them feedback. So they will be blindfolded. They cannot see. So they will do what you tell. So this has to be done in a way that we call one by one the 3 of them. So for the first person, you try to demotivate that person, saying you cannot do this at all. This is not your job. You are not born for this. Something like that. Just throw in those words. For the second person, even though the person is not throwing the coins into the box, just try to be more positive, saying, "Oh wow, even when he has put the coin there, say, wow, it's pretty good, it's pretty close. Do it. Keep on doing that." For the third person, you can guide properly, saying, "Oh, just 1 inch to the left, 1 foot to the right," something like that. So be more precise to the third person. So questions?
You can catch up, Sriram. I can explain in Thai first นะคะโอเคก็คือเดี๋ยวแต่ละครั้งที่เราให้คนติดตาเข้ามาเนี่ยก็คือครั้งแรกอะเราจะเหมือนช่วยเขาในการโยนเหรียญลงกล่องทีเนี้ยครั้งแรกอะให้เราพูดว่าคุณทำไม่ได้หรอกคุณทำไม่ได้อะคุณทำได้แย่มากในการโยนอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วก็ครั้งที่2อะถ้าอีกคนนึงเข้ามาก็คือบอกเขาว่าคุณทำได้ดีมากเลยอะไรอย่างเงี้ยถึงเขาไปโยนไปแบบไกลๆนู่นแต่ก็บอกว่าเฮ้ยมันใกล้แล้วอะไรอย่างเงี้ยคุณทำได้โคตรดีแต่ว่าครั้งที่3อะค่ะก็คือเหมือนให้บอกเขาว่าเนี่ยโยนยังไงให้ลงก่อนขยับซ้ายไหมขยับขวาไหมใกล้แล้วอีกนิดนึงโยนออกอะไรนิดนึงอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะคือไกด์ให้เขาโยนให้ลงกล่องให้ได้ค่ะอันนี้เข้าใจไหมคะทีนี้อยากให้เข้ามาใกล้ๆอีกนิดนึงเพราะว่าเดี๋ยวจะมองไม่เห็นค่ะเข้ามาใกล้ๆหน่อยคำตัวเสื้อ
Any questions? So just keep in mind what are your thoughts, how it was feeling. So we will write it down. So just keep that in mind. So for this person, you have to give a lot of negative feedback, saying you can never do this, things like that.
Should be careful. Should be careful with it.
Ready?
Okay, and how?
I will tell you.
Okay.
And that's it about
You guys try. No, it's okay.
You don't have to.
Thank you guys. So we have some points.
Okay, coins. Where is the coin? Okay.
So you have to put it into the box.
Okay,
Box.
And you have a team to help.
Okay.
and when you throwing the coin, try to remember how you feel when throwing the coin, and when you got the feedback from the other people.
How do I feel when I join the coin?
Yeah, so we will debrief after the activity.
Yeah, and we discuss later.
Okay.
Yeah.
My feeling? Okay. I feel good.
But you're doing really bad.
Oh, really? How bad is it? Okay.
It's not even close.
Not close. Okay, let me try again. Just
Such
Yeah.
a pleasure.
too far. Too far.
No, you're doing really bad job.
Really bad job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe contact in your fingers, you know?
Maybe we try to use my left hand.
Try harder, hey? You can try, but
Okay.
no,
Gonna work.
it's not gonna work.
Not gonna work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Okay. So
Maybe it's like time to give up, or you want to keep trying, like you're not doing well.
okay.
It's not working.
It's not, yeah, it's not working.
It's not working. Maybe you should try something else.
Something else?
Maybe change your
You know, giving up is also
Maybe, okay. What else can I do? Anyone?
just give up.
Let's keep doing it.
Give up.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I just don't throw the coin. Maybe I try from this angle.
Aren't you mathematician, are you?
Okay. Maybe I try this one.
Oh, this is just bad.
This is bad.
Yes, bad, really bad. You are so bad at this.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Let me try this.
You will never succeed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Very nice of you.
Just don't do it
Okay.
this way, you know?
Okay.
This is totally wrong.
No, this is totally wrong here.
Okay.
Wrong direction, wrong performance. It's simply
Okay.
bad.
What my last coin?
And it was also wrong.
Oh, thank you.
How?
Okay. Oh,
So we will debrief together with the rest.
okay.
Just keep thoughts in the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel?
No, no, it's okay later.
Okay.
You can.
Okay.
Okay, I will get another people.
So now the second person would come. For the second person, you have to be very positive.
Just positive, don't help them.
But not give you direction.
Yeah, no action
That
will
makes
take.
sense. Yeah.
Just say
Not
wow.
actually helping, but just encourage.
Yeah, just encourage. Keep on encouraging. You have to try putting these coins into the box, and you have a team to help.
Okay, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stars.
Almost there.
Better, yes. You can do it.
It's good.
Almost there. But,
Yeah, you have talent for it.
almost there. You're doing great.
Who taught you that? It's really good.
That was close.
Come on,
Oh,
you can do this. Almost there.
almost. Just a bit.
Perfect. Good job. เดี๋ยวอยากฟังความรู้สึกที่ตอนที่โยเรียนค่ะแล้วตอนที่เราฟีดแบ็กไปนะคะแล้วเดี๋ยวเราจะคุยทีหลังแก้นะคะเก็บปาก
So just keep whatever thoughts you have in your mind. Just keep thinking about it. We'll talk. So yeah, the next person you can give more actionable items. Just a bit around left to the right. Just like that. A few points. I have to put it in the box for the team to help.
One by one.
Yeah, for the first time I saw it.
Yes.
Okay, the direction is almost right. A bit to the right, but
A bit further and a bit to the right.
You're doing very good, very well. Make two steps
Okay,
forward.
the direction is almost right. Just throw a bit harder.
You can make two
Yeah,
steps
that's
forward.
what
hit the box.
Yeah, the direction is correct.
Going very well.
Not try to throw the coin harder, a bit further.
Almost like 10, 15 centimeters
Further.
from the box.
Yeah,
can
you
help.
step one step forward and then just one step forward. Yeah, one more. Do the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Just a bit on the right.
You did it.
Yeah, I think the.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
No, yeah, that.
We need all
Oh, yeah.
Three more.
Yeah.
Good. Keep going.
Thank you for participating. So let's see. So scenario 1 was you. So as a receiver of the feedback, how did you feel?
Okay, I feel that that I've got done something very wrong, probably, but I'm still a bit lost. Yeah, because something that said it wrong, but there's nothing to tell me what is right. So.
Don't know what is right.
Don't know what is right and lose confidence because I need to try something and when I try something and sometimes I feel I need to try something radically different than before. Yeah, even if some of my first try was already very close. And I feel like they are kind of an assholes. Yeah.
I will leave that. So, as givers of the feedbacks, how did you feel?
Like assholes. You're good at it. You're good at it. Right?
So, did you feel that you were helping him? Were you ready to give that feedback?
I wouldn't even call it a feedback. It was like a critique rather than feedback.
Not even feedback. What else? So for the scenario 3, there were a lot of voices, but for that scenario, there were not many voices coming out. Why?
Because somebody are afraid of upsetting people, afraid of giving negative things.
Maybe Thai culture.
I won't go into the culture part.
Yeah.
It feel bad for the giver also.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
And so we can just keep thinking about it, we can come back. So for scenario 2.
I just think everything is right. I just continuously throw the coin in the same action, the same power that I think because everyone say like is the right and good. Everything looks good. So I keep throwing as the same power and the same direction.
So you feeling good?
I'm feeling good, but I think I don't know what to change. I just need to know how different of any action that I did. But I just received the feedback like good.
So did you think that you are achieving the goal?
I think the first call, I think I almost achieved the goal, but I just tried again and again. And I think it's too positive. I just wonder if the feedback is too positive. I'm not sure.
So you're doubting the feedback.
So you don't know the right direction to.
Yeah, because everyone just say the good, well.
Mm-hmm. No actionable points.
And don't know the right direction.
So as givers of the feedback, what did you think? Was it easy?
Easy. Easy feedback. It's like a raise the child.
Sorry?
It's like raise the children.
Ah.
We just always share them.
What did others feel?
I feel kind of good. I feel like I'm a nice guy.
It's a good motivation, but it is doesn't make them work more, improve their
Motivation? But it doesn't make them improve. I believe for the best.
Sorry?
Believe for the best. Maybe it will help.
him to achieve the goal.
Maybe.
Maybe he can do it by himself. Yeah. If we motivate. Anything else?
Okay. Let's go to the scenario 3.
About scenario 3. What do you do?
Okay, for me, when the first time I come to this point and I feel, oh, it's very dark. And after I got a lot of information, you all told me a lot of information about the direction, the force, and anything else. That's very good. So that made me achieve the goal.
So you feeling you can achieve the goal
Yeah.
by the other one help you?
Yeah.
So more actionable items. You got more action items.
Yeah.
So you actually threw a lot of coins into the box. Yeah. You were able to achieve the goals.
So how do you feel when you hear the coin impact in the box?
Oh, I feel it's okay. I got it. Something like that. And everyone do it very well.
What did you all feel when giving that feedback? Did you feel sense of achievement?
Yeah, improvement every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Seeing the improvement you felt good.
It felt more like a teamwork rather than just one way.
Yeah, it's feel like teamwork. So when you see your friend throw the coin and it's almost lost, what do you feel? Oh,
Exciting.
excited. Maybe how do you feel it when you see him throwing the coin into the box finish? How do you feel?
Kind of responsible for how he does it because he's making decision on what we are trying to tell him. So
Responsible is a tricky word. We can discuss about it.
Anything else?
I feel like when he learn from experience, doing better and better, and the people is learn how to grow as well because learn how to give a better feedback because at first we try to tell him to far further, go far stronger, but it doesn't go with him. And then she said just one step forward, and he just hit the ball. So it's learn how to keep it better.
And when he succeed, we feel success too.
But somehow it required me to use brain though, so it's kind of a bit more energy. Yeah, so I need to use brain, right?
Yeah.
A bit tedious.
and it was constructive compared to the previous one. It was not only feelings but actual actions.
So, why we do this exercise, right? So you saw why it is important to give feedback. So if you give only your feelings about this person, oh you can't do it, that's not helping. And even if you give all positive, it is also not helping. But when you state facts, state actionable items, we are able to achieve goals. So that's the whole thing we were trying to achieve through this activity.
Yeah. So, for now, what is the constructive feedback in your mind?
Feedback that can make someone better.
Someone better? Okay. Anything else?
Not just pointing out mistakes, but actually providing suggesting the way how to fix them.
Not pointing mistakes. Okay. And if the rider didn't give the feedback from the other one, what is will happen?
Lost.
He will be lost.
Yeah.
Will be lost.
Yeah, so feedback helps us identifying the blind spots. So the person was blindfolded, so they cannot find their blind spots. Usually we think we are good at things, but when you look from an outside perspective, that's a different perspective. So that's where feedback is very helpful to identify the blind spots.
I think it's like scenario 1 and scenario 2, we could be biased to the person, right? So we may like the person, so we give a very good feedback, too good, and for the first one it's too bad. So to give the constructive feedback, we may have to remove the bad.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah, we will look at how to give good feedback.
Okay.
We can discuss.
So for the next one, we will talking about the two types of the feedback. So for the first one is strengthening confidence. So strengthening confidence is focused on the behavior that you want to reinforce or maybe encourage the other people. Maybe for the example, such as there's someone come to me and talk to me something like, hey, Mo, you are really the good listener and you are really the good at for doing sketch or doing the prototype. The thing that I do after I get this feedback, I will maybe continue to be the good listener, and maybe I want to be improved more about doing some prototype or maybe sketch, because I think I'm doing good and I want to continue to improve it. So for this strengthening confidence is the feedback that you give to the other one for make them continuously to doing it in the thing that they doing good. And for the next one.
Yeah, so the choice of words we took right here, we didn't say it as a positive word. We said it as a strengthening confidence. So the choice of word was very carefully taken. So if you say something as positive, the opposite would be negative, which is not true. So that's why we chose strengthening confidence, which encourages some behavior that you are already doing good, keep on doing it. Whereas the other one is improving effectiveness. We don't want to call it negative because people feel negative. If you say negative, it's like it gives you a kind of, you're giving me something bad. So that's why we chose words very carefully about improving effectiveness. So this is a kind of feedback which focuses on something that I personally think should improve. So if you see the graph, I have been progressing in particular area like linear. Once I get that feedback and I work on it, I might be able to improve better. So this is something which gives more positive impact. So something like if I'm a senior in a team and folks look forward to me but I'm not doing my job properly, so they can tell me that you can do more of this. So we choose words carefully. Rather than saying you are not doing it, you can say you can do more of this. This will help the team. So the choice of words is pretty crucial when you're giving feedback. Any questions?
But sometimes when I heard, okay, you can do more of this, it was optional. But for example, if example, like some of my team, they kind of sexual harass others or something like that. Yeah, I can just tell them to either to actually that's not a good example. Let me try the better example. For example, someone does not write the test. Okay, the one of the debt they did not write the test well. So if I just say that okay, you didn't write the test or something like that, but if you say that okay, you can be better to write more tests, and normally when I try to say the second one, they thought it was like the optional things that okay, it's good if I do, but if I don't feel like doing, maybe I don't need to. I mean,
maybe in that context, I would say maybe they are not understanding the value. So maybe if you had explained the value, it's not about more of the words. It's like the value is missing. You are just saying that write test. So write test so that we can be better at quality. So the value is missing there. Maybe that's what it's just a maybe assumption. And I'm not sure. Maybe you can try again. That's the anything else. So strengthening confidence and improving effectiveness. This tool we call as constructive feedback. And let's see how to give feedback.
Okay, so for feedback, we have the two kinds of the person. One is the giver, the people who giving the feedback, and the second one is the receiver, and it's the people who receiving the feedback. So for the first thing, I will introducing about giving the feedback first. So for the first thing, when there's someone walk to you and asking to you for the feedback, the thing that you should do is make it a conversation. What does it mean? Make it a conversation. It means you make it face to face. Because sometimes when you talk via Slack or via social network, it's just text. So for the text, it not have any feeling. You cannot feeling about the tone of voice, or you cannot see the expression from the face. So try to make it conversation. It means you try to sit in front of them and talk with them. You can see in the eyes, or you can feel the tone of voice. Like that. And next one, okay. This one is timely feedback for continuous improvement. What do you think when you should give the feedback? Can you just try after just try after you try? Yeah. The person just try to do something and you can okay. That's correct.
Maybe like schedule.
Yeah, okay, that's correct. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Actually, all the things that you talk is correct. But for me, I want to say it should be as soon as possible you can. Because sometimes when you are in the situation or when you are in the problem, you have some idea in your mind, or maybe you have some feeling or some word you want to say in that time. So if you spend a lot of time before giving the feedback, it made you lost some details that you want to say, or maybe you can forget the word that you want to say, or how do you feel in that moment. So from my suggestion, it should be as soon as possible that you can.
So general guideline at Thoughtworks, we tell them that, so we do pairing. So after every pairing session, ask for feedback. So that's how frequent we like the feedbacks to be. So as small as possible and as short as possible.
So what do you mean by
pairing?
Work together.
Work together. So two devs work on the same piece of work. So we pair.
You mean like every day?
Yeah. Most of the days.
Yeah. Okay, so for the next one, safe environment or somewhere private. Safe environment is made by people and workplace. It should be safe for you. You should be comfortable to speak out loud, and both players and both people, you should be comfortable to open your mind to them. That is one. And this one, don't be aggressive. Don't be aggressive. It means giving the feedback is like you give the gift to the other people. So when you give the gift to the other people, it should be from your heart, from the good wish. So if you give them by aggressive things, sometimes the other people can hear you and they don't want to take the suggestion or the feedback and nothing in them. And then for the last thing, it should be not too much feedback at once. So for the one time when you're giving the feedback, you should have just 2 or 3 topics that you want to talk with them. So if you have a lot of points that you want to talk that you want to give to the receiver, sometimes it makes the receiver confused and don't know how should I improve first. So for the one time that you want to give the feedback, maybe you just talking about the most important thing, or you want them to exceed in that time.
Yeah, got question. So for the don't be aggressive, do you mean by like emotionally, or do you mean like make them feel wrong?
I think it's the both of things. Aggressive sometimes it means by your tone of voice, sometimes it means from your face, or sometimes it means the detail in the message that you want to give them.
Like too emotional.
Yeah, both emotional and both the message.
Yeah. So I mean, like let's say I'm like super emotional, like but I don't make them feel wrong. Is that crazy?
I think we will. Can you hold that question when you come back? So I will try to address that question in some slides.
Okay, this is the last. Okay, try to provide solution and suggestion along with the feedback. For this case, it means sometimes when you giving the feedback, you can provide more solution for the other people too. Such as if Sriram come to me and asking me about when he communication with me, I am speaking too fast or not more. So sometimes I think, oh yeah, he's speaking too fast. So how can I give the feedback to him? Okay, maybe I will tell Sriram something like, okay, Sriram, you are speaking too fast, so you should speaking slow, and every time when we're speaking together, I can do something like this. Please look at my hand side, and every time when I do something like this, you have to slow down. It's like you provide the solution to them.
Yeah, but it's not always you have to provide a solution. It's not possible that you can provide solution to every scenario. So that's why the try word is there. So try to provide a solution. If not, try to help them find a solution. So
consider that there are any chances that we can spoil them by always provide the exact solution for every feedback, and to be let them not think of the solution by themselves.
yeah, you can. So the point here is not point out the problems. Try to be part of the solution.
So I think it's made the people go to the right way for the first thing, but it depends on people to provide a solution or not. Okay, so before you giving the feedback, what do you prepare yourself? When someone comes to you and asking to you, oh, I want you to give me the feedback, the first thing that you should do is set aside time to prepare for your feedback first. Set aside time in this case means you take the time for a while for thinking about what I want to say with him, what I want to give the feedback with him. Just take a time for a while for thinking about it. And next one is understand what the area or aspect that the receiver is looking on to get feedback on. So this case is mean if Sriram come to me and he asked me for giving the feedback in the area of communication. Maybe I will thinking about, Sriram speaking too fast, I should give feedback to him. This is the point that Sriram want to hear you. So it's like you're thinking about it a lot, and you can make it beyond point for the Sriram, and Sriram can get it to improvement. And for this one is thinking about the possible the other area that you can give more in this feedback. Something like when Sriram asking to me about how is my communication when I talk with you. So sometimes I can thinking about more options such as when he communication about the client, how was it? Or maybe thinking about communication when he talk about the teammate. So it's like the area that have some relation. Okay, so for the last thing, is the thing that you talk about this before we should schedule the time before we giving the feedback, because it's like it can make every people should be free or available for giving the feedback. And I think it's like you show your intention to giving the feedback to them too.
Yeah, I think we missed that slide. We have taken on that one. So to address your problem, right, you're too emotional. So if you state facts and keep then automatically the emotions will stay away. You don't put your interpretation there. State facts that this is what happened, this is what I observed. Can you tell me what happened? So rather than saying your emotions, oh, I felt you did this, rather than doing this, state facts. This is the event that happened, and I observed this happening. Can you?
What is like positive emotion?
Even for positive emotions, I would say state facts.
Like
you could don't interpret.
So maybe just observing what is the thing happen.
Yeah, so even in preparing for giving feedback, I would say think about the facts you want to state. So you are thinking about the areas and aspects they want feedback on. Also think about the facts, supporting facts. Any other questions?
But this slide is about preparing. It kind of assume that you already have those facts and you already observed or something like that, right? Because I think actually a big part of preparing for giving feedback is try to collect as much fact as possible and try to observe as many things.
Yeah, if you tie back to the previous slides, right? We say give continuous feedback. So if the time frame is short, you don't have to think about the facts because you will know the facts.
Yes. So it's like set aside time to prepare these things. We just sit on the table and thinking about it.
You had a question?
So if the giver give the constructive feedback, that the giver thinks constructive feedback, and then the receiver receive it, but feel like it's go to the wrong direction, can be like emotional or like sensitive issue for the receiver, and then user is strictly focused on the fact, and then if like giver and receiver has the different fact, like they have a different perspective, so what should these two parties do in this kind of situation?
But I think even the fact sometimes it can be some indicators to indicate that it is the positive or negative things, right? I don't know, maybe if, for example, if we say, okay, you the current code has like 25% code coverage, and if I already said that, then it's just nothing because nobody knows whether 25% code coverage is good or bad, right? But if I say, okay, 25% code coverage, while last year we have 16% code coverage or something like that, it can be, I think, we can state the fact and also state whether that I don't know my opinion whether it's good or bad or positive without pulling our feeling and bias into it.
So to answer that answers a part of it. So you are stating facts. So and there could be two different facts. Fact from my perspective, fact from your perspective. But we are in a room to collaborate. We are here to. So that's the main motivation behind I giving feedback and you receiving feedback. We want to go to some place. So we have to have a shared understanding. So that is more important. So if there are two conflicting facts, we try to understand which one is right and move forward, rather than saying my fact is right. So we are trying to collaborate. It's not that I'm right, you are wrong.
Yeah. So maybe.
No, I was saying maybe like build like context first, so we can like building the same context.
Yeah, exactly. Having a shared understanding and building the context. So having the context is very important.
So sometimes if you're afraid to make the other people feeling down, giving the feedback face to face sometimes it can be built. You can see the face of another person, tone of voice. If you can stop it, if they cannot feel it. That is why we should give each face to face. Okay.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's see how to receive feedback. We have saw how to give feedback, how to prepare for it, how to receive feedback. So for giving feedback, we said don't be aggressive. So when receiving gift, I don't think we will be defensive. We will not say, oh, I don't want a gift. This is not what I want. So don't be defensive. Seek clarification if you don't understand. So there's a very thin line between being defensive and seeking clarification. So being defensive means, oh, I didn't do this, why are you telling me this? So that's defensive. Oh, and seeking clarification, oh, you are saying something happened that day, can you tell me more? So that's seeking clarification. So that's a very thin line, but yeah, we get more clarifications on the feedback you get. Very important. When you are receiving a gift, say thank you. That's it. This is a debatable point. What do you think? Should I take action on every feedback I get? So I receive a lot of feedbacks from 10 people in my team. Should I take action on every feedback?
So maybe give us some goals. Maybe no.
And how do you decide which one to take action, which one not? Which one is good to take action?
Okay, that's a good question.
Okay. You had some point.
Yeah, we also maybe just summarize and go to because like sometimes feedback is good. So you try like to move on, like to do the next week.
Sure. Yeah. So maybe you don't take action on everything, but since you have received feedback and that person has invested time to give you feedback, it's your responsibility, I would say, moral responsibility, to say, oh, this action item, I understand this is there, but as per my priority of goals, it does not sit in, so maybe I will do it later. So having a conversation and getting it to finish is very important. Maybe you don't have to take the action, but take it to a finish, the conversation. That person has invested time on you. So it's a very moral responsibility to do that. And so seek feedback from clients and colleagues at regular intervals. Again, so giving feedback was at regular interval. Also seeking feedback should be at regular interval. It's a two-way thing. It's not just I keep on giving feedback. You also have to come and receive feedback. Any questions there?
How as a receiving person we can, so for example, we end up as a receiver, we end up in the scenario 1 or 2 when we are getting some kind of feedback, but it isn't actually a thing that we want to hear, like it isn't helping. How should we
proceed with it. I mean, how do we point out that they maybe, like, as a giver, you are doing something wrong? That
what does others think? Have they faced this problem?
You should give them feedback.
I think it's answered by seeking clarity that you don't understand. Basically, if they're when you say that you're doing good or you're doing bad, you basically don't know. So you need to seek the clarification and make sure you get exactly what the feedback is about, rather than just taking, hey, I did something good or I did something bad.
Yeah. So combination of the two. So you first seek clarification. Even if then you are not, like, you're not getting any actionable item, you can give that person the feedback that your feedback is not actionable to me. So that's always an option you have. Yeah.
Could you explain more about the action? How to choose the proper action?
Take action?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So if you have I think you get feedback quite often, but there is you would have short-term goals, long-term goals, some kind of goals you will have, your personal goals. See if that feedback helps you achieve those goals. So that's how I personally do. It's my personal thing, how I use take actions. So I see if those feedbacks are in line with my priority of goals. I would take action on them immediately. Others, I will defer until I achieve these goals, and then come back to see, oh, this is the feedback I got. Maybe I should put them as my goals for the future. But the point I do is, the person who has given me feedback, I will talk to them saying, this does not align with my current goals, so I will take action item later. So I finish the loop. I don't say, okay, and leave. But I finish the loop saying, I will take an action item later. Because if you're, so to again coming back to his point, the point where they're not writing tests, right? So you say once, but maybe it does not align with their goals. So they will not do it. But you keep on noticing it, you will keep on giving that feedback, right? So that's why it is important to finish the loop. Saying right now I might not be able to do it, but later I will. So that you don't keep on giving me that feedback.
Yeah, I'm actually saying that, like, not pointing mistake on the board.
Yeah.
Is that like we should not point the person mistakes?
If you state facts and then point mistakes, it's okay. Just pointing mistakes is.
So I mean, like, let's say if I'm giving you feedback, right? So if I say I point a mistake to you, that doesn't feel wrong.
Yeah, we have a role play for that.
Okay.
Let's see.
So,
I think it will address.
So it's a state, yeah, not the wrong one.
Yeah, I think the role play will address that, not point mistakes. So let's go to the role play. Next slide. So this is the scenario. No, it's the other way around. So Mo has been noticing that Sriram comes to stand up late every day for the past 2 weeks. And when in the stand up, I am very much distracted and not contributing as I used to. So let's see how the feedback plays. So this is, we will do this role play in 2 different things. So this is first one. Just observe and we will discuss what is good, what is bad. So we are sitting in a table. You have to be You have to be
Okay.
Action.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello. I was giving you feedback now.
Sorry. It was other way. Yeah. Hey Mo, I want to give you feedback. I've been noticing that you are coming late to the stand-ups, and when in stand-up you are not attentive. It's not good. Please improve yourself.
Okay, bye.
Cool. So what do you think was good about this? Was there anything good about this? This role play?
Good about it is
any direction.
The right clear. The mistake was
It's one direction. You not try to understand why she left.
So is it good?
good.
No.
Is it?
Oh, you
The group
The right clear.
I'm trying to understand why. Anything else?
maybe it's like not coming from the goal from that person.
Make the person not reachable.
It's like your receiver, like if maybe the constructor says something, maybe it should be something like what you say from the goal, if they have the same goal. Maybe it's not that goal.
So no shared understanding.
Towards that.
Anything else?
What do you think about the setup? The environment.
Also, how you approached her was very straightforward.
Actually,
So it's good or bad?
It doesn't rather bad. Like I would ask first if she has time for.
Ask if you can give feedback.
but it can be good, like quick and bad.
From the other person's perspective, is it good? The person who is receiving. Will you be okay to receive such a feedback?
Action taken.
No action
No
taken.
action.
Take it to complete.
Mhm. Was there anything good?
It wasn't too emotional. Like it was straight up facts. Like when you late, it's unauthentic. It wasn't like I feel like.
But he said he doesn't like it though. Did you say that?
I said you should improve. What do you think about that?
Like finding that person's wrong.
No, but you should improve.
This is like an action item, but yeah, everybody should
No,
improve.
yeah.
So it's
So it's
No,
a
we are-
raw action item, right?
The environment is not cool, it's not private.
Everything is in charge.
Maybe asking for like compliment.
Should ask for commitment, right?
Yeah, first order. Maybe you listen to them. Like after giving feedback, ask them how to get you about what we just said.
Listen more.
Yeah, maybe like if they already understand what we said.
Yeah. Not trying to understand why. So try to understand why. Okay, let's do the same role in another scenario. Hey Mo, I have some feedback I have to talk to you about something. Do you have time right now?
I just want to finish this thing first. Maybe it can be.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
We can talk after 10 minutes.
Okay. Hi. Do you have something to talk with?
Yeah, can we book a room and talk?
Okay.
So there is a room now. So Mo, I have been noticing that you have been coming late to this stand-up. Is there is everything okay? Is there any problem there?
Actually, everything is not okay now because my sister is really sick. It's really sick today, and I don't know it's how long. I have to spend a lot of time on this every morning to take care of her. So, and sometimes when I stand up, doctor calls me to my chest. So that's why I come here every day.
So do you think if we shift the stand-up 30 minutes later, will that help you?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, let's talk to a team and let's see what we can do.
Okay.
What was good about this particular scenario? Was anything good?
It was a conversation.
Anything else? Both parties trying to come up with a solution together.
So we got the solution after we talk. Ideas.
So I think it's like the person actually listens first. Listen to the other person.
Getting clarification before doing getting clarification.
Anything else?
It was private, safe space, and
Private space.
And the tone of conversation is much better than
The tone of voice. Conversation.
What do you think about the first part? So I asked for permission,
Which is great.
So is it good?
It's good.
Instead of just directly giving the feedback, you basically giving her the benefit of the doubt, so that you ask yourself for having a conversation with her.
That's really what is to be improved from the situation.
Is there anything we should improve? So we talked about it being direct and clear. Was it direct? So here we talked about it being. So I was direct on point. I was not trying to go ways. I think so. This was just an example of how you may approach giving feedback.
Question. This example is more have a listenable listen to be late. But what if it's not? What if more just play online game until 3 a.m.? How can you have a constructive conversation with this person?
that was important.
But yeah, I feel like this the for the improvement rate. I feel like for the person shouldn't be like buying the story. We just like buying the story too easily too late.
What do you think the person should do?
I know, I feel like we are talking about maybe push them a little bit first before buying the story, come up with a solution.
Yeah, I think we are missing a lot of context in this particular scenario. So maybe I would say, don't buy into everything.
Try to create my homework.
I think the good thing is if he say he play the games on the night, you can tell them because you can tell them because about the impact on the team.
I would say keep that assumption out of it. Just trust. It's a team member. I would just trust, and I would say if whatever was the reason, I am looking forward to the solution, not pointing to the problem.
Yeah, but I think maybe we go through the kind of the what should I say that we kind of go through the we have to okay let's move the time forward. I mean we go to that point probably too quickly. Yeah.
No, we didn't end up deciding on that. We just said this could be a possible solution. Let's talk to the team. So that was the only thing. So we didn't arrive at a solution. It was a possible solution. Yeah. So to answer your question, I would say maybe it is true. The person was playing the game, but I would say look forward to improving it. Maybe the next day they will come on time. Yeah.
I guess it shouldn't matter if it was true or false, right? Because if moving the stand-up, for example, like 30 minutes after, and the team is okay, everybody's okay with it, and she comes to the stand-up the next day, the next day, the next day. It doesn't matter if he actually played the game or she didn't play the game or if someone's sick, right?
Just look forward. Just keep moving. Anything else?
If you want this solution for this to be focused on more to come on time, not come late or not make the stand-up delay. What is the constructive feedback that you can try to motivate her to come on time?
Why is coming on time important?
Because in many scenarios, coming on time can be an important issue. When you have a meeting or stand up, and how you can go to that solution to motivate more to.
Yeah, then I would talk about the impact of not coming on time. So let's assume it's a very I don't know how it works. It's a very hierarchical organization. Coming on time is very important, and it creates a lot of perceptions. So if I come late, I don't get promoted, let's assume.
Yeah.
I don't know if this happens anywhere, but let's assume it happens. So if I am to give feedback, I would say the impact of you not coming on time, you might not get promoted. So I have seen such cases happen. So what is your plan? So that's how I would approach that problem. But I would say the impact so that they can understand the impact of coming on time.
Okay. Being punctual, if we on time is important, maybe we can give our solution, maybe she can do it remotely. Because if she's at the hospital taking care of her sisters, we can work remotely.
There are many solutions.
Yeah, or we can even move her to a different team that does not need thing, and just move someone that on time or something like that. I think that can be a good.
Yeah, there will be many solutions. So the point here is to take the other person in confidence. Yeah. So not confront that person saying, "Oh, you're coming late."
Yeah.
That's confronting. Yeah. Rather than saying, "Let's help. Let me help you. How can I help you?" So that the tone is different. So not confronting. Okay. We'll move on. We'll park the questions.
Okay. So after you study about to be giver and receiver, before you to be giver and receiver, is have someone want to study. So how do we start it? We start it by asking for the feedback first. Okay. So I will let you maybe 1 minute for read this text and we will discuss later. Okay, so how do you feel when there's someone asking you why this message?
Confused.
Confusing? What is confusing?
I don't know. I mean, what's the time we have worked together? What do you want to know? Is it? I mean,
I don't know where to focus.
There are many things, right? Okay, you are talkative. Okay, you are a nice person. You are.
Using that, not focus.
I don't know where to focus. What do you want to know most?
Also, once in 9 months isn't a good frequency for feedback.
So 9 months is too long.
I think so.
You forgot everything.
Or you have many things.
I feel like we should have one setting.
What do you think about the word saying my annual review is coming up? What do you think about that?
It's like kind of biased, like, hey, my annual review is coming up and I want to score good and I need your feedback and you know what to do.
Actually, I don't want it.
Like
Depends where you send the email to, right? Who to send the email to.
this email is had an assumption that if you don't send this email, he will not prepare anything. The person who reads it.
Anything else? You know, this message may imply that you never have like feedback during the 9 months. Like normally we should have a continuous feedback to know what we should improve or what we should do, you know, through the time that we work together. But this one is like, okay, it's coming. Can you give me the feedback during the department?
So it's like I just asked you all the feedback, but I don't want it. Anything else? So maybe we can go to the next one. Okay, let's take 1 minute for reading. Or maybe 2 minutes. So, how do you feel if you got this message from the other people?
I feel like this have to be in conversation first before you send me this email.
So you had a conversation before the email.
How do you know what you choose, what the area that you need the feedback on, what the feedback that you want to give?
It's in the bullet.
Yeah.
So obvious.
So it's like hard schedule.
Okay, that's how schedule. Anything else?
It's very specific on like what the result that we get from the constructive feedback, because the agenda is like improve the area that the results like want to improve.
So if want to clarify the result,
That's great. What I say is like in this email, it shows that the purpose of this email is like the person wants to know what to improve. So it's clear objective.
So what do you think, when was this email sent? Before the showcase or after the showcase?
Before.
Is it important?
So like he can like listen this specific point during the presentation.
Yeah, you can observe particular thing, particular behaviors, and give the facts.
Okay, so I'm confused now. So this guy, the requester is asking them to look at their presentations that are gonna happen in the coming week and give them feedback after that, or whether this guy asks the kind of the observer to give them feedback now so that they can use it for the next week's presentation. Do you know? Do you understand the question?
I think it's before giving the presentation, like he's asking if.
So it means that this guy he has already presented to the observer.
I think it's like before the presentation, and he just wants the feedback of his previous presentation, so he can improve for.
I see. So for the previous presentation that he had, but not just ask them to look at the presentation that he is gonna present.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So that also during the showcase, right, they can notice, see if they have improved. So you give some feedbacks, and during the showcase you can see if the person has incorporated those feedbacks. That's the gist. So yeah, so it's a very good example of how to ask for feedback. You are very on point. So let's do an activity on practicing how to give feedback. Do we have time? Yeah.
Okay.
Have you time?
So,
we have 10 minutes. So the activity is, we're going to be artists now. So you will draw something. You will draw yourself. So draw a portrait of yourself. Myself?
Okay, ปากกาค่ะแจก
Stick man นี่ตรงนี้
Draw a portrait of yourself. You think you are a stick man here.
Do you want it? Okay.
One portrait which you want to have feedback on. So we practice giving feedback.
Just one.
As many as you want. Feedback on.
Yeah, don't be serious.
My destination is outside. Oh, no.
a few more people try.
So we're gonna get feedback on our drawings. Let me improve.
That's why feedback is there to improve. You can use this. Okay, if you have drawn, see a few more pens there. So pad up and start your drawing.
The people inspire of you.
So pad up.
หาคู่หมด
สามคนแค่สามคนจะการระบาดสลับกัน
Everyone has Okay. So be an art critic now. Note down points, what you want, how to critic the art.
This is a lot better than mine.
Just note down the facts.
Draw like
this is the time for you to prepare how to give feedback. You don't give feedback right now.
Oh, not keep right now.
Yeah.
Just think.
Just prepare.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Just prepare right now. Don't give feedback. Just prepare. Take time. Yeah, so have you prepared? Everyone is prepared? Provide feedback to your friend.
Okay.
Let's start with the It's a great goal. It's a great goal. But I would improve
What to be
more.
ส่วนให้ครบมีคอมีตัวโอเคอาจจะดูเหมือนแล้วตัวดีคิวโอเคควรจะมีปลอดภัยโอเคปากตรงฟันควรจะดัดฟันด้วยมีหนวดนิดนึงแล้วหน้าควรจะแหลมอีกหน่อยนึง
Excellent. Body, I think you don't have last time because
Okay.
And
เสื้อผมไม่ได้โปร่งใสนะแต่ไม่ได้น้อยบางทีไม่ได้การแต่ส่วนโค้งขาดไปนะแต่ว่าเป็นการ์ตูนนี่ก็ดูน่ารักเป็นแบบดีกว่าเป็นจริงเลยขาแว่นทะลุหัวอีกแล้ว
ทะลุหัว
I'm thinking about I'm learning to draw.
มันเล็กเนาะยันมีแต่ตุ๊กตาไม่ได้like options and like for example น่าจะเรียนได้เลยนะแต่จะได้ไปกับตัวนี้ก็ได้มีthe place
That's why I draw eye like this. I cannot draw eye.
ไม่รู้ว่าเป็น constructive feedback หรือเปล่า
ก็คือเดี๋ยวไม่แน่ใจเดี๋ยวผมจะให้ฟีดแบ็กมากกว่าจะให้ฟีดแบ็กของการฟีดแบ็กที่ด้านบอทางกัน
Some
yeah more of a pencil นี่นึกถึงรูปใน Facebook ที่เขาแชร์รูปมาที่หัวสปรินต์ก็จะรูปสวยงามมากก็ได้นี่ก็จะปลาสปรินต์ก็จะเป็นน้ำ
So how do you feel as a giver? So you're practicing giving feedback. Anyone needs more time? Okay.
It's really guys so fun.
Yeah, so how do you feel as a giver right now? So did you try any of the techniques that we spoke about?
Keeper.
So how did you feel? Yeah.
it's a bit hard to give feedback on the field that I'm not familiar with. I don't know where to improve it. It's not perfect, obviously, but I don't know how to give a direction or how to give a solution for him to improve.
Well, as a receiver, did you get something good from that feedback? Do you think he feels he did not give you much actionable items? But as a receiver,
I think like because I feel also kind of the same because let's put it that way, like art or like pictures and stuff like that it's very subjective and it's like something that can be pretty and nice for one person can be totally bad for another. So it was hard to find objective parts of the picture that another person should
and it's just for practice.
Yeah.
Sometimes when in your real world, sometimes you have a lot of context and a lot of knowledge for suggestion and other one. So for this context, drawing, so someone is not good at it.
So yeah, did anyone try any of the techniques that we discussed?
I found it's a lot more difficult, like giving constructive feedback that like whether the student is look good, it was really nice, or when you have to when it comes to attack, giving the actionable item, I found it's a lot more difficult, and like we have to like think a lot.
I think that's the main motive of this activity, just to start the thought process.
I think in this situation is a lot of things to aware, like the receiver is sensitive or not, is many things to aware that actual giving feedback is quite hard.
I tried to ask the receiver what kind of, in which areas the receiver would like to get feedback. I use this technique.
So did it help?
Yeah.
I before talking, I actually asked him about the job, about him person first before saying the so we try to negotiate first.
So you try to know about the context first.
Right about the context.
So how was it receiving the feedback? So were you defensive? Anyone defensive when receiving feedback?
Nervous? Maybe nervous?
So I'm feeling nervous. Was anyone else feeling nervous when receiving feedback?
Scaring of what to hear.
Yeah, it's always there. So even today, after practicing giving feedback and receiving feedback, when I go to a feedback session, I'm very nervous. So it's always there, but it's just the hurdle you have to cross. When you start the conversation, it's pretty smooth. So it's just the beginning, you are nervous, but when it's a conversation, it's very smooth.
For the because my drawing is just like animation and doesn't look exactly like project, so I feel that when I listen to the feedback, I like open my mind about the feedback. I can hear any directions that and make me feel a bit more relaxed about getting feedback and not too serious and going in the emotion. So yeah, I think like open mind can be like make myself feel relaxed for the feedback. So prepare your mind before you receive the feedback. Yeah, very important.
Yeah, I think that's what we have. So to summarize, what we went through today is what and why of the feedback, types of feedback, how to give feedback, receive and ask for feedback. So let's go back to this. So did we discuss how to give better feedback? Can we take it? How about give and don't be hating? Persuasive feedback. What is persuasive feedback? Can someone give me more context? I don't remember.
Maybe keeping the one that and make sure that they kind of follow how or they take action upon the agreement.
Yeah, so we did talk about giving an actionable feedback.
So that's true.
We did discuss a lot in depth what is feedback. So we wanted to improve coaching. So this could be the first step. I won't say this is coaching. This could be the first step towards coaching.
I see, but I think coaching definitely requires good feedback.
Yeah.
System, right?
Exactly. So this could be the first step, but coaching involves a lot broader point. So I'd say this could be the first step. So I want to take that part. Make the team reach goals. Yeah, that's what feedback is. So you help the team reach the goals. And feedback organization bottom up and top down.
Depends on the culture of the organization.
Precisely. Yeah, so for me, I feel I am in a culture where I can challenge anyone, can give feedback to anyone, even to my MD, whoever that is. So it comes naturally to me, but in certain organizations it might be considered as like, oh, who are you to give me feedback? So maybe stating facts might help, but I'm not sure. I would recommend, not knowing the context of the organization, so I cannot recommend that. But I would say in those situations, maybe if you state facts, if the person is like open to feedback, the person will take it. So stating facts would be very important.
So somehow I think it depends on your cultural, or maybe it depends on the people that you're giving feedback to. So try to find the people that you're comfortable to give the feedback on. That can help. This can only happen when you have the culture of the two-way communication.
It depends a lot on the organization and culture. So what to do after receiving? Yeah, we did discuss about that part. So taking action. What should I take action on? So we did discuss that. I wanted to discuss this one particular point here. So as a giver, I felt responsible about the other person. So do you think as a giver you are responsible about that? Do you have to take responsibility? Only say yes. And no's. No's. I'm strong. Yeah, so I would suggest, I had few more slides, but due to time constraints, I will say it out, keeping it out. So I would suggest read about receiver and giver fantasy. So there is something called as a fantasy in the feedback thing. So as a receiver, I have a fantasy that I am responsible for it. So I have to, as a receiver, my fantasy would be every feedback I get, I have to work upon it. It's just a fantasy. So everyone understand the word fantasy?
Yes, I feel like for the giver, you should like if the receiver should feel that person before actually.
So for giver, I would say the responsibility is done by giving feedback. That's the max we can do. Give the feedback. You cannot follow up with that person. Yeah, if the person asks you to follow up, yeah, for sure. But it's not your responsibility to follow up with that person saying whether you have taken the action. As a giver, I would say your responsibility ends by giving the feedback. That's my opinion, but I would suggest you read about receiver and giver fantasy. So another book I would suggest to read about is Crucial Conversations. Oh, has anyone read that book? Crucial Conversations. Yeah, so that's a very good book. So it helps on how to approach feedback. So maybe if you have time, you can read. And there is a training about it in Melbourne about crucial conversations. So the author does a 2-day training or something. It's a very good book. You can apply it in your personal life as well. So if you have to talk to your wife, talk to your husband, it's a very good book. How to approach it. Yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, so got this question about Thai culture. I'm not sure how it's working in Thai culture.
So how is Thai culture and feedback?
To be honest, sometimes I have to just give feedback to the people that I'm comfortable to say.
Only you.
But if you can stand anyone, maybe you can in the time. I know suggestion to explore, but sometimes it can be happen. But sometimes before you giving or receiving feedback, you can feel about the warning. You can ask him for the feedback first. Maybe if you feel like you didn't do it good in your job on this time, you can ask him from maybe your friend or maybe the people that you have the problem to. Sometimes I found if I just want a suggestion for someone, sometimes I have brave or some courage to ask to the people something like the client or the people who I have the problem. Sometimes it's made that people who อยากพูดว่าบางทีเขาทำให้เขาเอ็นดูเรามากขึ้น
So it has to be like indirect feedback.
Yeah, indirect feedback, yes, but some people cannot be Thai. So I think choose the people that you're comfortable to say or.
Yeah, but I think like if for the giver, I think it probably easier for Thai people to just focus on the fact, and I think as long as we focus on the fact, something like that, and with no what to say, have no emotion, etc. attached to it, and if we try to try to practice that, and I think it should be a lot easier and a lot smoother for the Thai receivers. But actually, to be honest, I'm not sure what the correct. I've been Thai for like 40 years, and I've been working in Australia for 10 years, and I hardly see any differences between that, because I think that the hard part is if you are a receiver and sometimes you want to get feedback, but you kind of you get a very poor feedback from your managers or something like that. And I think that one is harder. But I think if you are the one who give feedback, I think it's easier as long as we practicing kind of reframing the fact, etc. And I don't know that my opinion.
Yeah, from my experience, so I would say that is an anti-pattern. Maybe she's also new to this feedback culture, so that's an anti-pattern. I would say just ask feedback and give feedback to a person you are comfortable with. That's a very anti-pattern, I would say. But yeah, there are things we can improve. So it's just, for my experience, I've seen both kind of Thai people who are very open and confronting, and who are very conservative.
I feel like different is not the hierarchy.
Yeah, definitely. So that's where I come in. I ask a lot of leading questions to them. So I make life for them easier. Even if they are not confronting, I ask a lot of questions that might lead to a confronting situation. So leading questions, as a receiver, you can always use that part. So you ask a lot of leading questions. What do you think about this particular space? This feature I was testing, what do you think how I tested this feature? So if you are very specific to get facts, it helps them. And as they keep on practicing, I think it will be very helpful. They will get eased. Don't go into that anti-pattern. I will talk to you.
It's okay, that's okay.
Cool. Any other questions?
I mean, I have another question here. I'm taking too long. So I mean, like for example, like say for the Thai culture, some people they don't take initiative to give feedback to you. People don't take initiative to say, yeah, you're bad, but they keep it to themselves. Is there a way that you can encourage people to give feedback?
I think probably it's on the last the last email, right? And not the last one, but the receiving on the receiving end, right? Something like this.
Yeah, I think it's just a culture. You keep on practicing it, you will get there. But you have to be open. So if you are one person, you have to encourage the others. If you are open to feedback, that's not your responsibility ends that I'm open to feedback and I will get feedback. You have to encourage others as well. So it's just building the culture of feedback.
I think another problem is that they don't even observe us in the first place. I mean, sometimes they just do what they works, and they kind of easygoing, etc. And they kind of okay with everything. And
I won't generalize.
No, I mean someone they just don't observe us in the first place. And if we ask them to give us feedback, even though they want to give us feedback, but they cannot because they don't. I think probably we need to start asking them to observe us first step, and then I'm giving this presentation. Can you please, I don't know, take a look and take note for me and give me feedback after this or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always a two-way conversation. So cool. So do leave us feedback on our session. So what did you think was good? What we could improve?
Sorry, actually, my first question here, I think maybe you have answer it, but what does Thoughtworks do again? Like, do you have a product or website, or are you the training like Audi, or are you
So Thoughtworks is built on a 3-pillar form. So our founder Roy, he went when I don't know that ice cream shops. So they had this concept of 3 pillars. So we have this concept of 3 pillars. One is to run a sustainable business. So for that we are a consulting firm. We go to clients. We try to understand their problems and try to provide solutions. So that's our bread and butter. That's our first pillar. Then there is a second pillar to have a good technological excellence. So something like Selenium, if you have heard about Selenium. So it is open source, and I don't think the founders are still there with Thoughtworks, but something like that. So we try to disrupt the technology. We have products like Mingle. So the P2 phase is within we combine with the P1. So running a sustainable business and it goes together. And there is this third pillar which talks about social and economic injustice. So we try to use the technology we have, the technical expertise we have, to uplift and have a social justice. So it's not CSR kind of a thing, but we do projects for pro bono, for free and for lower rates. We are associated with UNICEF. And in local context, if you see this T-shirt, this is a Good Factory workshop that's going on at the Central World. So we are doing a project for them. So it's a limited education thing. So this is Thoughtworks.
And talking about here is about P3 too.
That's our third pillars. Level the playing field for everyone. Those are our guiding principles. That's Thoughtworks. Anything else? So please do leave us feedback on what was good about this session, what we could improve, anything we didn't cover.
Can we get the slides?
Sure. I will let Joel do that.
Yeah, we usually post them up on GitHub, so after I've done that, I'll post a link on the Meetup site for the slides. I'll put it on the Meetup site and the Facebook site as well.
Feedback.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Got some slack, so thank you. So here's some stickers and shirt. But I only got size M. It might be too small for you. So, but I can go downstairs and get another one. Yeah, what size are you? XL? Alright, I've got some downstairs.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming along.